What's up, everybody? I'm on live on Facebook and live on Instagram. And so I'm going to be breaking down how this Mercury retrograde is going to be affecting each of the Zodiac signs. And I know everyone gets all freaked out about Mercury retrograde. And honestly, the signs that are going to be feeling this Mercury retrograde the most is going to be Aries, Libras, and Capricorns. So I'm a Capricorn sun and I'm a Libra rising. So yeah, I'm definitely feeling it. But to know kind of the themes that are going on as far as with this retrograde, we got to look at as far as where it is happening, at what time it's happening. What's up, Mel? But yeah. Oh, what up, bro? DJ on Instagram, Mel on Facebook. So to understand what's going on, we got to take a look at the different. So we're in Cancer season right now. One of the big things that's getting a lot of attention is the Little Mermaid. So we got to take into consideration what Cancer has to deal with in the. Oh, I got something in my throat. Oh, it's this little lamp thing. But yo, Justice, shout out to the brother for looking out. But yeah, we got to take a look at the fact that the big uproar right now is the Little Mermaid. Cancer has to deal with the fourth house of roots and foundation. And then also later on in the month, and I can't even make this up, but we got the new Lion King movie coming out, and that's also Leo season. Now it does come out, in Cancer season, but it is dope to take into consideration that Leo season and the Leo King, the Lion King, is happening around the same time. So that's super dope. So what I'm gonna end up doing is we gotta know as far as what Mercury retrograde even means. So Mercury is going to be the planet of communication, and during its retrograde, it has a negative effect on our perception, our interpretation, timing, and decision making. And so on this Instagram page, the Ivory Descent Witch, she said the dues that you want to do is take time to organize and reflect on goals you're already working towards, double check emails and documents, have patience with yourself and others, as it is easy to miscommunicate during these times. Don't sign contracts, make big decisions, or plan vacations during this period. So that's a little bit as far as what we're dealing with when it comes up with the Mercury retrograde. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each one of the Zodiac signs, and I'm going to tell you where this Mercury retrograde is going to be affecting you. And I'm also going to pull a card of guidance to help you through. And so we're going to start off with Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So Aries, like I said, Aries, Libra, and Capricorns are going to be feeling this the most. So Aries, this is happening in your fifth house. And your fifth house is actually the Leo house, and that's the house of children. That's the house of pleasure, recreational and leisure activities, things that we enjoy. And so the retrograde is happening as far as in that house for you, Aries. So what you're going to be visiting, or what communication problems you might be running into, is your communication when it comes to the things that you enjoy, how you communicate that. And with Aries representing the house of self, the first house, that might be a big theme that you're going to be running in, or I want to say running in, you're going to be revisiting the month of July. And so that's going to be an interesting time for you, this retrograde happening in as far as Cancer season. And on top of all that, what else do we have going on this month? It's a crazy month. It's a crazy month because we also have the solar eclipse, the partial solar eclipse happening on the new moon in Cancer earlier. Then we have a Capricorn full moon in the middle of the month. And then we have a rare second new moon in the same month towards the end of the month with as far as a lunar eclipse. So there's a lot of things that are happening in the sky. So with Aries, with this being in your 5th house, let's get a guidance card for you. I've been shuffling it this whole time. All right. So let's see. So Aries, the moon. So with this happening in your 5th house, anybody looking on Instagram as well, but for Aries, with this happening in your 5th house, and this being your guidance card, the moon. So the moon card is actually the card for Cancer. So that's what's very interesting. And with Cancer being a water sign and having to deal with your emotions, right now for Aries, this is going to be a time for you to dive and to feel. Right now for Aries, Libra, and Capricorns, we have to feel right now. It's very uncomfortable for us. But as far as what the guidance is showing for you, Aries, Sun, Moon, Horizon, is you want to go ahead and feel right now. We need to feel. Like I know I put on on Facebook, Mercury Retrograde, run and hide, but honestly, that's the worst thing that you could do at this time is run and hide. It's you. We have to confront these things because they're not going to go away. If you know those horror movies where you have the killer and you're running away or whatever, and they seem to pop up everywhere. Well, this is how the Mercury retrograde is going to be for a lot of us, especially Aries, Libra, and Capricorn. This Mercury retrograde, yo, what's up, Justice on IG? This Mercury retrograde is going to be like every time you try to run away, it's going to be right behind you. You're going to be running around the block. You're going to look, be like, oh, snap. All right, I got away from it. You're going to turn around and it's going to be like, hey, you left me behind back there, buddy. And that's what's going to be going on. You know, you're going to be sitting up there. You're going to be sitting up there. You're going to be in your car thinking that you got away. Start up the car, and he's all like, hey, we're going on the ride. You look behind it. Yep, it's right there. You know, it is not going anywhere. Yo, even if you try to drive that thing off of a bridge, you might as you found a way to roll out before it hit and let that shit go into the freaking water, watch it drown, and then you hail for a taxi or you call a Lyft or a Uber, and you know who that Lyft or Uber driver is gonna be? Yep, that Mercury retrograde in your feelings. Like that's exactly what's gonna be going on. So so yeah, Aries right now, your guidance, you've got the moon card, so it's definitely getting into it's definitely feeling right now. And don't get it confused as far as getting into your feelings. You know, we definitely have to feel when it comes to processing, especially a lot that's been going on right now. So next up we have Taurus. Taurus. So Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So for Taurus, this is happening in your 4th house. So the 4th house, like I said, that's the Cancer house. That's the house of home and family, your ancestry, heritage, roots, early foundation, mother figure, and things that have to deal with as far as your generations and things like that. So Taurus, right now, all right, bro, peace and increase. Heck yeah. So for Taurus right now, you're going to be revisiting as far as situations from your past when it comes to your family, your roots, your foundation. And like I said, with this happening in Cancer season, that is the house of foundation. That is the 4th house. So, you know, you're going to be possibly revisiting as far as things, trauma, family trauma, different things like that, so that way you can release like this. What I'm understanding as far as with this year in general, and why everything is happening in such a dramatic fashion, it seems like, is because we have to take into consideration that this is the last year of this decade. Like, not only just moving into 2020, but like this is legit the last year of the decade. So there's a lot of epic, lots of things that are ending, chapters that are closing to get you ready for this whole new direction that we're going in the next year. So with this happening, Taurus, in your fourth house, that's why these particular themes keep on popping up, because you have to go ahead and heal that those roots, those generational things that are going on in your earth sign. You like stability and structure, and the pleasures of life, your home, your foundation. So that's going to be a lot of the themes that are playing for you. And so for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising, your guidance card is, oh, the Tower in reverse. Okay, so here's the thing. A lot of people see the Tower card. Yo, what's up, Cole? On IG. A lot of people see the Tower card, and this is a guidance card. So this is for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So again, this is happening in your fourth house. So this right here is your house. With it in reverse, that joint is like blow it up, like, but not in the sense of it being super dramatic. This is because you're comfortable right now. Like, you're comfortable, and that comfortableness is actually hurting you. So that's why that's why the guidance is as far as that inner. So with it being upright, that was going to be an outside force that was coming to do this. But with it being in reverse, this is something that you have to do. Oh, the Joker, the wild card. So for Taurus, with this happening in your fourth house, this is the guidance. You want to go ahead and do that lightning bolt, that inner lightning bolt, so that way you can go ahead and ride this wave that's going on with this Mercury retrograde. Because if not, it's going to. And with this being Mercury retrograde, you might have, and with this being in communication, you might run into a lot of arguments and things like that with your family. But again, that's heightened by the energy that's going on right now. So that's why it's that inner work has to be done, so that way you can be able to be patient in the way that you communicate. And I know with Taurus, y'all know for being bullheaded, but during this time, like I said, this Mercury retrograde is happening so you can revisit those things, so that way you can move forward. I know several Tauruses in my life, and I know that a lot of us are healing in general, but a lot of Tauruses are going through some deep healing right now. And so, don't shy away. You already know what's going to be able to happen. You want to be comfortable living, chilling in that bathtub with all the essential oils and everything like that, or, just comfortable, so do that inner work. All right, so let's see. Next up, we got all work. Okay, so we have Gemini, and actually, Mercury is the planet for Gemini. So this is happening in your third house, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is the house of communication. So this has to deal with your higher education, childhood environment, happiness, intelligence, achievement, siblings, neighborhood matters, like short and local travel and transportation. So this is like the neighborhood house. This is like all the communication as far as within nearby areas that's not inside your home. So, with this happening in your third house, you're going to be revisiting as far as a lot of stuff that are going on right now when it comes to your surrounding and how you communicate as far as with your neighbors, people that you are close with. And so there might be a breakdown as far as communication with that, but you know, it's not going to be as bad for you because again, you're ruled by this planet. So if anybody understands the what Mercury does, it will be, you know, you Geminis out there. So y'all be able to ride this pretty good. Y'all I know when Mercury retrograde season happens, y'all are just all like, yo, this is be all the time. Like that's why people be thinking y'all be crazy because y'all got that double duality that's going on. So, you know, but it's not bad. It's not bad. So the guidance for you, Gemini, Sun, Moon, Horizon. All right. So this is going to be the Queen of Swords. What a perfect card for Geminis, because to me, sword energy represents mental energy, and that's all that y'all, that's intelligence. That's what Gemini represents as far as symbolically. So for Geminis, your and that's funny. I just said how y'all know all about this. The Queen of Swords is going to be the highest as far as that that sword energy, that mental energy. So you have the feminine aspect, which would be the Queen of Swords, and then you have the masculine aspect, which would be the King of Swords. And so with Queen of Swords, this has to deal with as far as the bright side of the brain, you know, creativity and things like that. So the guidance for y'all Geminis would be to basically sit in that confidence. This is in reverse, so this has to deal with your subconscious thoughts of someone coming towards you. So with this being the guidance card for Geminis, y'all just sit confidently, you know, in what's going on and be master communicators because y'all are going to be getting a lot of this energy in general. So that's for Geminis, Sun, Moon, Horizons. So next up we have Cancer, and we have this Mercury retrograde happening as far as during Cancer season, and this is the fourth house. So you Cancers are dealing with second house energy, and second house has to deal with the Taurus energy. That's the house of wealth and value. So this is the things that you value, the material world, money in general, how you value yourself, properties, growth, like I said, your self-worth. So right now, the retrograde is happening in your second house. So you're revisiting these themes because moving forward, you can't move on and continue to go through as far as the way that you've been going when it comes to your worth, when it comes to money, when it comes to your self-worth and what you value. You're confronting these issues again, you know, so that way you can move forward. So for Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising, let's get a guidance card for y'all. All right. So for you Cancers out there, Sun, Moon, Horizon, this is the Eight of Wands upright. So wand energy is fire energy. So these are your actions, your willpower. So the guidance is going to be taking action right now. This is going to be taking actions in your passions, the things that make you happy right now. So for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Horizon, right now, during this, especially during this Mercury retrograde, you're going to need to go ahead and dive into your passions, dude, so that way you can bring your self-worth up, you know, so that way you can start accumulating as far as value, material wealth. With eight, that's the, when you have the eight on the side, that's the infinity symbol. So we're dealing with as far as probably patterns of self-worth and how you value money and how you value yourself. So during this retrograde, you're revisiting this. So hop into these passions. I know that a lot of Cancers can be homebodies, you know, like, but right now is the time to go ahead and put yourself out there. Let people see, you know, what's underneath the shell, you know. So this is going to be opposite energy from what you're feeling. This is passion and action. This is definitely that Leo, Sagittarius, Aries energy in general with the Eight of Wands. So for Cancers, y'all want to go ahead and definitely Definitely dive into your actions right now. Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Dive into your passions. Um, let's see. So next up, we have our friends, the Leos. So this is happening. The Mercury retrograde is happening in your first house. That's the Aries house. That is the house of self, physical appearances, traits, the first impressions you give off to people, your general outlook on the world, your ego. And with the Mercury retrograde happening here, you're going to be revisiting how you show yourself in the world. You know, you're going to be, as far as your first house, it could be as far as during the retrograde, this definitely wouldn't be a time to go over the top and make any crazy changes. But this is definitely a time for you, Leo, Sun, Moon, Horizon, to just look at yourself. Just reflect on everything that's been going on these last 6 months. Heck, even this last 10 years, like I said, this year is very special because we're closing out a decade. You know, we're closing out a whole decade. So for Leos, the guidance that I have for y'all, Leo, Sun, Moon, Horizon. So, Page of Wands. All right, so whenever I look at page cards, they're not, the card that comes before the page is the ace, and the ace has to deal with putting the seed. Like, you just put the seed and there's a bunch of possibilities. The page is going to be, it already has taken sprout. And so with it being the Page of Wands, your guidance as far as for Leos is to use what has already sprouted. And this has to deal with your actions. This has to deal with your passions as well. So use those passions, that sprouted passion. So maybe some of y'all just got into, you know, working for yourself, or you're working on a project, an art project or a book or anything like that. Or maybe you're just working on your physical self, something that you've already been doing that is starting to sprout. That's going to be what you want to go ahead and use to go ahead and to ride this wave when it comes to, as far as this Mercury retrograde, because the communication is going to be jumbled when it comes to you basically making it about you. So like when you jump in and get in all Leo and super passionate, it's gonna be all jacked up. So for right now especially, it's like you don't want to tell, you want to show. Like you want to, this is action. So the things that you're passionate about, that is already sprouted, and maybe it hasn't bore fruit yet, but that's what you want to dive into during this Mercury retrograde for you, Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So with the Virgos, and so Virgo, that's my moon sign. This is happening in the 12th house. This is the house of self-undoing, but also other dimensions, the mysticism house. This is the spiritual house here. And so with the Mercury retrograde happening here, there's going to be, as far as a lot of themes that we have to go through when it comes to Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, when it comes to what it is that we believe in. The things that we believe in, things that we can't explain. So there's going to be a lot of themes when it comes to communication with that. And I know Virgos, whether Sun, Moon, or Rising, is Virgos in general, we can be worry warts and things like that. So, you know, during this time, let's see. Um, let's see. For Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this is happening in the 12th house. So let's see what guidance card we have for y'all. Okay. So we have the Seven of Pentacles, and we're in the 7th month right now. So there, right now, could be a time where a lot of us Virgos are tying our higher self to as far as our material world. And so the guidance as far as with this is, you see, this person's looking down and he sees as far as the fruits of the labor that's happening right here. But I don't know if you can see quite, his face kind of looks kind of dissatisfied. Like it's not a burnout like the Ten of Wands or anything like that, but he is tired pretty much. And so right now would be a time to rest. Your guidance for Virgos is to take a break from as far as thinking about how you're going to get this, how you're going to get that. Like right now, because this is happening in the 12th house, you're revisiting these spiritual lessons because we're dealing with the 7th energy here as well as the 7th month of the year. That's going to be that's a big theme right now. So you're having to detach as far as from the two and revisit as far as those spiritual beliefs of yourself and things surrounding as far as your finances. Because the thing is that once you get that spirit right, all this is going to come in a way to where it's not even you looking dissatisfied or you being tired, because even if you are tired, it's happening with the things that you want. So you may be tired with a big smile on your face, so that's going to be for Virgos, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Now for Libras, this has happened in the 11th house. So this is the Aquarius house. This is the house of friendships and acquaintances, like-minded people, groups, higher associations, one's hopes and wishes. So like I said, for Aries, Libras, and Capricorns, we're feeling this a lot right now. And so with this happening in your 11th house, Libra, Sun, Moon, Horizon, you're going to be revisiting as far as those feelings when it comes to people in your groups, people, your friends, different things like that. We have to confront these things like we do. I know I definitely have my work with certain people and things like that, so I definitely understand with this being my rising sign. But the Libra house also has to deal with the 7th house. So with this happening in the 11th, your partnerships, like this is going to be a lot of revisiting and communications when it comes to your friends, when it comes to your groups and associations and things like that. Getting back into that communication, there may be a lot of people coming from the past. Definitely Mercury Retrograde brings up people from the past. So it's probably a lot of that's going to be coming about too. So for Virgos, let's see what guidance card we have for y'all. Okay. So, another mental card. So with this, the Two of Swords in reverse, this could be as far as a decision, subconscious decision that it is that you're having to think about, or someone coming to you with some information that has you thinking about choices, thinking between what sword, to use, what thoughts to go through, what path to go through. So right now, the guidance would be to take that time to ponder on the choices with all that's been going on with this year and all these crazy retrogrades, all these, half the planets are retrograde right now. So it's just all like there's definitely a shift in energy that we could feel. So with that being said, take the time to go ahead and reflect on these different choices. Maybe from the beginning of the year to now, you may have more options when it comes to your associations, your partnerships, your friendships, different things like that. So take the time during July to go ahead and just reflect on those choices. That's why the Mercury retrogrades are slow down. This isn't a time to jump into anything super quick, because when the retrograde is over and things start moving forward, you might end up being like, ooh, I might have not should have jumped into that. So that's going to be for you Libras, Sun, Moon, Horizon. So with Scorpios, this is happening in your 10th house. So this is the Capricorn house. This is the house of your social status, your ambition. This is the career house. This also has to deal with, government. This has to deal with the father figure as well, or just the breadwinner in the household. Also, your public appearance, like how you are perceived to the public. So a lot of Scorpios during this time, yeah, are going to be having to revisit as far as themes that have to deal with your career, your public image, so that way moving forward. Because the thing is, a lot of times when we're dealing with the career or jumping, into anything like the public eye being on this, a lot of times we think that we're perceived a certain way that we're actually not. And so during this slowdown with this happening in your 10th house, you get to reflect and you get to actually sit back and be like, okay, how is the public even actually accepting, like, what do they even think about? So especially you can get with this water energy, Scorpio, with there being Cancer season. So the guidance for y'all Scorpios during this time, let's see. Oh, and I had just talked about this, thing with the Virgo as far as it being a different one, but this is actually the for Scorpio Sun, Moon, Horizon. This is the Ten of Swords. I mean, Ten of Wands in reverse. So, with the Wand energy, this is fire energy, Aries, Sagittarius, Leo. And with this being in reverse, this is the burnout that I was talking about before. So with this being in reverse for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising, with this Mercury retrograde happening in your 10th house, the guidance would be to go ahead again and rest right now, because you're doing everything that you need to be doing. But before you move forward, before you move into 2020, you just need to make sure that what it is that you're planting is not for naught, because there's the burnout that's going on, but during this retrograde it is a slow down period. So go ahead and make sure that the things that you're planning within, not on the outside world but within, go ahead and make sure that you just take that time to rest right now, because it's about to get real for y'all. Like I said, this is happening in your 10th house, and you got the 10 of Wands in reverse. So, hey, ride the wave, Scorpios. Rise from the ashes. Okay, so now for Sagittarius, the Mercury retrograde is happening in your 9th house. And so with that, with the 9th house, that's foreign travel. That's actually your house. So you're going to feel kind of, comfortable in here, sort of, but there's going to be, again, this is a breakdown in communication. So it could be you have someone that is on, as far as in a foreign country, and the communication between y'all might be an issue right now, or as far as travel in general, like you had some travel plans and that might be slowed down and delayed during this Mercury retrograde. And it might be a good thing for you, because usually sometimes when that happens, hey, it might save your life. So with the Mercury retrograde, with that happening in your 9th house of foreign travel, foreign affairs, different things like that, let's see what guidance we have for you. And I want to I'm thinking about making just like a kind of like infograph or something as far as for the Zodiac signs, so that way you are able to look at that throughout the month in general. Super dope, super dope. Okay, all right. So Sagittarius, y'all's um, y'all's guidance card for this Mercury retrograde happening in your 9th house. Ooh, transition in reverse. So don't get all crazy. The transition is the death card, but death isn't as far as a physical death. Has to deal with a death of mentality, a death of certain ways of doing things. So the guidance with this being in reverse, this is inner transition, inner transformation that's going on. So for you to be able to ride, as far as this Mercury retrograde energy that's going on, you want to do the inner transition, the inner transformation, the stuff that is preventing you from being able to do those foreign travels, that's preventing you from, maneuvering through or communicating clearly when it comes to that ninth house energy. So Capricorns, that's me. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So this is happening in the 8th house, and it's so funny. That's the Scorpio house. So that's the house of reincarnation, cycles of death and rebirth. Your sexual relationships, your deeply committed relationships of all kinds, joint funds, finances, the occult, taboo matters, self-transformation. So Mercury retrograde happening for Capricorns in the 8th house. This is a time of being able to look at the last 6 months, look at, and I've been in a very reflective state. So, this is a time of slowing down to see if you're doing the inner transformation. I know for me, especially, there's a lot of things that I'm cutting back on. There's a lot of things that I know moving forward, I cannot be maneuvering in the same way that, I am, because it won't be sustainable. So for Capricorns, and like I said, we're feeling this a lot. We gotta feel. That's what this retrograde is. You gotta sit with it. It's gonna pop up like, hey, you thought you was gonna just leave me without having to deal with me. You created me. So yeah, Capricorns, we gotta sit with it. We gotta sit with that feeling, and once we do, there's that transformation. So take the time during this Mercury retrograde to do that inner work. And I've been told, all the signs have been there. Do the work. So the guidance for the Capricorns, there we go. That choice again. Right now we have to sit back and reflect and allow this slow down, so that way we can make a decision that's based on what our heart wants. This is definitely a time to literally, sometimes Libras can be known as being indecisive because they're weighing out all their options. This is the time. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Horizons. You need to sit, look at the options that are presented to you, because moving forward, you want to make the right choices. This isn't a time to rush into anything. Even if you feel like you already know what you want to do, don't do it yet. Just sit on it, because you may be surprised. Something that didn't seem like it was an option at the end of the retrograde may seem like the best option. So that's why it's important to just sit with these thoughts. Don't make a decision yet. All right. Aquarius, this is happening in your 7th house. So this is the house, the Libra, the partnership house. This is your communication when it comes to your close confidant-like relationships, marriage, business partners, agreements and treaties. Let's see, the qualities you admire in a partner and things like that. So with the Mercury retrograde happening in your 7th house, you're going to be revisiting on ways that you do communicate with your partners. Like if you're like in a business and you're an Aquarius, are you speaking to your partners like in a way that they actually feel comfortable? Are you just barking orders around, or or even in your actual relationships, as far as with the significant other, how is it that you're communicating with, as far as that person? And also, don't forget about the relationship with yourself. How is it that you're communicating with yourself? Those are going to be revisited now when it comes to Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising. So the guidance card for y'all is going to be the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups in reverse. So Aquarius is being the air sign. Y'all can be pretty G when it comes to emotions. Like, y'all definitely are the start of the zodiacs, are like universally, I feel like the universal love. But when it comes to your close relationships, sometimes those could be like zero communication. So you're gonna be revisiting these right now, because moving forward, the way that you maneuver through in life, you're not going to be able to continue to just like ignore the ones that really care about you. You're not going to be able to just like not communicate with your closest relationships, because that's going to start affecting how it is that you're showing up to the world. And at some point, that is going to affect you and how it is that you are the star. Like, it's like finding out that your favorite celebrity is like a freaking jerk. Like, it's just like, dang, man, like, I thought they was really cool. Da, 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 da. So you're gonna be revisiting those, right? During this Mercury retrograde. So with this being the Eight of Cups, take that time. The Cups energy is going to be emotional energy. We're in Cancer season. So again, this is this inner emotional energy where the cups are all there, all of the emotional love there, it's all there. But you have to drink from that cup and accept it. Like, Aquariuses are so good at being able to tap into, as far as a lot of the universal truths that are going on and the universal feelings that are going on. But there's always a balance, and sometimes that awareness can be at the sacrifice of their close relationships, and it doesn't need to be. Now, there's a time and a place. This isn't like, all this is saying is that you have to give a little bit more. Like, it's not saying quit what it is that you're doing. It's just be with those feelings, because those feelings are going to make you feel good. You might get a dose of inspiration that helps out the good of the world. So accept those, be in those feels. Like I said, we're in Cancer season, all this water energy. Then we go into Leo, all that fiery, passionate energy. So this is going to be a very interesting one. All right, so the last one, Pisces. I know if my homie Mel is still on, she's probably like, finally, Pisces. So let's see. So with the Pisces, this is happening in your sixth house. So the sixth house is going to be the Virgo house. This is going to be the house of health, routine, tasks, skills, training, your job, employment, your service performed to others. It even has to deal with pets. So your communication when it comes to these things. How are your routines? Like, do your routines suck? Like, are your health routines like not supporting as far as the goals that it is that you want? How is your daily habits? Are you, on top of priorities and different things like that? So with this happening in the sixth house, communication in those particular areas may be a little bit jumbled. So how are your routines outside of like your planner, and outside of like the notifications that you set on your phones? Because when we're dealing with Mercury retrograde, phones can go all crazy and haywire. So if that were to happen on your phone, would your schedule, as far as how you navigate, would that be haywire too? So this particular time is revisiting as far as how you deal with your healthy routines. Is it eternalized to where you don't need communication? You don't need a device or some other form telling you to eat, or that this is coming up. And some of us definitely do. But with this being the Mercury retrograde for you Pisces, it's definitely, you have a lot more inner strength when it comes to organization, and they're making you think. And that's why you're going to be revisiting these themes during this Mercury retrograde when it comes to July. Your health and organization. So Pisces. Let's see what guidance card we have for y'all. And if you're looking for a personal reading, like a legit based on you and not a general reading, then inbox me. Inbox me. That way we can get you prices, and then we'll get you scheduled for a reading. So yeah, we get that for you, and then I offer the ability to make it into PDF, so that way you can look at it whenever you want. So let's see. Pisces, last one. Okay, so the guidance for y'all. The Emperor. So what's interesting about this Emperor card is he has the world. There's like almost this unk, and you got like the ram head that's going on right now. So the guidance for you is to sit confidently in your organization abilities, your health and routine. Like you got it. You got it. So don't go overboard during this Mercury retrograde. Definitely slow down, reflect, see as far as how to make it better. But just realize that this isn't the time to rely on your Google Calendar notifications or whatever app that you got that reminds you, like, boom, this is what's going on, because that's going to be out of whack. So you want to sit in as far as what you know to be good and efficient for you, you know. So that's going to be the guidance. So this Mercury retrograde is just a slowdown, so you can be aware of things that you missed before with these particular themes. So don't fret. Do not fret. That's what makes it worse. That's for sure. You know, it's like one of those little trap things where it's all like the more you pull, like the tighter it gets. So yeah, right now is the time to be, you know, pull it, because you're only gonna make it worse and you won't be able to escape. So right now it's definitely a time to just walk towards it. You know, like walk towards this energy, because that you're gonna be fine. So all in all, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in on Instagram and on Facebook. I'm probably going to chop this down and put the individual videos out, so that way those that missed it can actually view and listen to it and things like that. But if y'all like these, definitely let me know. I'm thinking about doing it a lot more, incorporating a lot of the things that I have going on with this. So thank y'all for tuning in. Stuff that we got coming up is the CBD Fair and Market at Brick at Blue Star on August 3rd. Of course, my music video Any Day Now is out on YouTube. You can type that in, Mr. That Composition. Any Day Now is filmed in Japan. Super excited about that. Also, my first work of fiction, Ideas of Illusion, is out. So you can get that on my website, dabtro.com/shop. Ebook and paper book available. If you those have read it have probably been tripping out, because there's a lot of things that are happening right now that was kind of predicted, you know, in that book. So I'm excited. I'm not saying I'm a, you know, Nostradamus or nothing like that, but you know, I pay attention to patterns, and it's very interesting how things are playing out there. So thank y'all. Digging in the Midnight Garden. I literally have been listening to the rough draft of Digging in the Midnight Garden, and I am pretty excited. I think I've got a solid 10 tracks. They all have words on it, lyrics to it. So man, lots of cool things that are coming up. Lots of cool things. So thank y'all for tuning in. It's Mr. Composition MC that writes fiction. Peace. Peace out, Instagram.